Emo kids don't fuck with bronzer, right? What's up, you all? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna be doing mom emo. I know that sounds kind of crazy. Like, is there like a such thing? I don't know. But I like to think that there is a kind of difference between your average emo kid, scene kid makeup look that you think about when you think of like scene kids, and a former scene kid who has since grown up and become a parent, because that's the reality of scene kids nowadays and emo people, because, you know, emo was a thing back when I was like getting ready to graduate high school and then go into college. I didn't really get into it that as much until college. I did a little bit in high school, but not, you know, like the music and everything. But, you know, I had a mom who didn't really like me wearing black lipstick and black eyeshadow and crap out of the house. Shocker, I know. Yeah, I didn't really get into that part of it until I got in college. But now I'm a mom. And spoiler alert, I still like emo. And in the spirit of the emo gods walking the earth once again, I'm going to be doing a lot of emo looks lately. Because, I mean, that's all I ever want to do anyway, let's be honest. And now I have like a really, really good excuse. So nobody can stop me. And yet, the other day when I went to pick my kid up at school, a couple of her friends were like, "Oh, you look scary." Like, they thought I was dressed up for Halloween. Like, they thought my makeup was on Halloween themed, and it wasn't. I know they've seen me a million times. They've seen the makeup that I wear. I don't know why I guess maybe like they were thinking Halloween scary. Now her makeup is scary, but I didn't think it was that scary. But here we are. I'm gonna do a kind of a watered down version of emo. I know that's like terrible to say, like that. Like why would somebody do this to emo? I don't know. Like, it is what it is, right? But that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do like a mom emo, grown up emo. I don't know, 30-something emo. I don't know. I went to Hot Topic the other day and I bought fucking coasters. Okay, if that tells you anything. Turns out that's what you buy at Hot Topic when in your 30s. Coasters. Now, I know a lot of people think of red eyeshadow when they think of emo. I do too, because I mean, let's be real. Gerard Way kind of popularized it. He's the reason I hunted for red eyeshadow everywhere back in the day and couldn't find it. But I'm gonna do emo as I remember it. If you saw my first impressions of this palette, which is the one I'm going to be using, you might see that I talked about that a little bit. I remember emo as black eyeshadow. Really heavy, thick, unblended black eyeshadow. You heard me right. Unblended. Eesh, right? I don't know why they thought my makeup was so scary. I love red eyeshadow, don't get me wrong. And yes, it is definitely emo scene. I will give the emo scene credit for red eyeshadow, the birth of the popularity of red eyeshadow. But in my mind, all the scene kids wore really thick, heavy, black eyeshadow. So we're just going to have to mom this up. I am going to blend this out a little bit more than I would a normal emo look. But the trick is, or, you know, the adjustment that I'm going to make, the minor adjustment, is going to be the fact that I don't bring it up so high. Like, when I think of emo, I think of like thick black wing, almost like the eyeliner is covering the entirety of both lids and coming to a point right here. You know what I mean? And it's literally just eyeliner, like not even eyeshadow. So I'm going to kind of do that. Not blend it as much as my brain is going to beg me to, but you'll see. Let's do it. Elf smudging brush. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Yes, smudger brush. It's like $1. Okay, I'm going to go into Let's Do It. Black shade down here. And I'm just going to thicken it on. I'm going to put it on heavy. If I need to wipe off my eyeshadow, I can reapply my sunscreen and everything after I'm done. So this is how I did my makeup back in the day. I would always do my eyes first because I used black every single day and I went in so heavily with it that I kind of just planned on wiping it off into a wing shape. One of these days I'll do like a how I did my makeup in college and then we'll all see how it was done. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start really close to my lash line, making sure to cover up the microphone so that you all can't hear anything I say, and resist every single instinct within me that tells me to blend this out. This is the Real Techniques definer brush. It's like a little eyeliner brush kind of thing. So I'm not even gonna blend this out. I know, yikes, right? But what I am gonna do is go in over top of it with the shade Full Metal right here. Just kind of dust that over the top to give it a bit of a sheen. That's basically all I'm gonna do on the top. This should be pretty easy, preschool pickup appropriate. I mean, is it really emo if you don't just let the black shadow get all over your face just so you can wipe it off into a wing? Like, I don't think so. I don't really think you can classify it as an emo look if you don't take that step. And now you're ready to go to the dame. It was like the dive bar when I was in college. I tore it down. That's where I was home. Blind melon. Like, I mean, I feel like that's the most watered down I can make it and still try to pass it off as emo. I'm gonna speed through this foundation process. I'm gonna use the It Cosmetics CC cream because, full disclosure, this is, actually, it's not the only foundation I have right now. I still have a stick foundation that is just absolutely way too light for me, and I'm gonna use it because this is the perfect moment. I hate this foundation. I hate this foundation. My skin is way too dry for this foundation. So I used to like this foundation, and then, and like back when my skin was a little more oily, as it reverted to its habitually dry self, the foundation became, again, very annoying. However, it is extremely way too light, and therefore, perfect for emo. Emo mom saves the day. Gonna be the name of my children's book that I write. It's gonna be teaching kids about their emotions. Copyright that real quick. Now, I can't really wear concealer over this foundation or it will literally just bunch up and fall off. So I'm gonna go back into certain areas of my face that I think need a little more stuff on them, meaning to declutter that, and because I haven't filmed my declutter yet, I can use this foundation. Now, to be perfectly honest, I didn't really wear a lot of blush back then, if any. I don't really remember wearing any blush back then because I didn't really wear a ton of foundation. But even when I did start wearing foundation, I didn't always wear blush in the beginning because I didn't really like blush. I didn't know how to put it on, and I just did not care that much about it. So I'm gonna put blush on here, but because it's a mom look, you know what I mean? Like, if I were in college going out on the scene, you know, I would not put blush on probably because I feel like the whole pale look is kind of the point, right? But let's do some blush. I'm just going to use a little bit of like a light pink blush or like a light rosy blush, warm toned blush, but just very faint because I already have some redness on my face. I haven't really been wearing powder lately. I don't know why. I guess I just decided I didn't really need it. I don't know. I really don't, so I just like said screw it. I'm not really wearing powder. Everything blends out better without powder anyway. Like, I feel like there's this idea that I used to think too that like powder helps you blend stuff out, but honestly it just creates this barrier between whatever you're putting on to the foundation and the foundation itself that prevents those two things from blending seamlessly together. So it's just one more step you kind of have to troubleshoot. So you have to find the right powder that'll go with it. In my personal opinion, I think you should always try to go for a foundation that matches your skin type first and foremost. If you're extremely oily, then you need to get an extremely matte foundation and use powder very sparingly. Because there is a line there. It's like if you don't put enough powder, like if you don't put a ton of powder on, if you don't put like too much on, you can't blend it. But if you only put a little bit on, then it starts to skip and pull your foundation apart. So, and that's like, I've used a lot of different powders and I've never really found one that doesn't do that because my skin's really dry. But even when I use really oily foundations and think, yes, I need to put a powder on top of this, really, I just need to wait a little while and let my foundation dry down before I put anything else on top of it. So yeah, that's about as much blush as I'm gonna put on. No bronzer or anything. Emo kids don't with bronzer, right? All right, another way I'm gonna mom this up real quick is because moms can't live without highlight. That's not true. I just want it. Let's do this one. Put a little bit on. Tiny bit. Not on the nose, none of that nonsense. Now I'm going to finish off my eyes. The reason I waited until now to do my eyes was because I didn't set my eyes. I haven't been setting them with powder lately. I like to wait and make sure that any foundation underneath my eyes or any concealer, like I haven't even been setting my concealer. Let it dry down a little bit, because ultimately I am going to go over it with eyeshadow, which in my opinion kind of sets it anyway, and especially because I drag my eyeshadow down so far, I just don't see powder as being necessary. It's kind of like a way for me to just save a step, I guess. I'm going to take that same black, the matte black in the bottom left. Now to distinguish this, just a simple wing from Emo, you really have to make the bottom lash line almost as thick as the top and not blend it. And it's really just that simple. So if you are a mom, or you're not, or you just want a little bit more, I don't know, like a lighter version of emo that still evokes that emo feeling when you see yourself in the mirror, I'm going to do the same thing with that Full Metal shade as I did on the top. And I'm just going to take this Real Technique shading brush right close to my lash line. I like to close my eyes sometimes when I do this, because that way I can get extremely close to my lashes, and I just sort of kind of feel where I want it with my eye closed. Like I can feel how close I am to my lash line right now, because I don't want to risk blending it too much. I'm just going to take a little bit of eyeliner and kind of fill in my waterline a little bit, so I have like a gradient where it's a darker, closer to my lash line. Here, let me zoom. Definitely got to get in my tear duct though. That is like a big scene kid look. Whew, I don't like doing it on my top lash line though. Oh, can't do it. This is just adding that level of smudginess that the emo look definitely needs, or else it's not an emo look, in my personal opinion. If it's too perfect and too blended, not emo. Because let's not forget that professional makeup artists did not invent emo makeup. Okay, kids did. Gonna do my mascara and my brows, and I'm gonna be right back. Now, what I remember about emo and the scene itself was that lipstick wasn't really huge, at least not where I lived. I know it kind of varied, probably depending on where you live, like what type of styles of makeup were worn, and the fact that the internet, you know, had its own kind of style of emo. Like MySpace was huge for emo, of course. But I just don't remember lipstick being that big of a thing, and definitely not overlining your lips like as most people do nowadays. My favorite way to do my lips would basically be, and I'll kind of do it now. Let's do it. Would be to make sure I kind of erased them with foundation or concealer. Like, I liked the way that looked. Yeah, kind of like that. Like, I liked the way that looked. Just the foundation-y lip. Not really like foundation like caking on, but just lightening my lips a lot. And just having really black eyes. But I'm going to mom it up a little bit, and I'm going to use glittery lip gloss. But I am going to use like a very colorless one. It's basically just super glossy almost when you look at it, because the glitter doesn't really come off as super glittery. It just enhances the glossiness. So, not scary mom today. This is Dose of Colors Goalz, by the way. I freaking love it. This is my second tube. I used up my last one and then promptly lost it, so I can't add it to an empties video. And there we are. Mom emo. Mom emo. This is what I came up with. If you all like this tutorial, please, if you don't mind, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also, I would ask that you actually go watch my first video on this eyeshadow palette, which is, of course, yet another very similar look to this one with this Smoke Show palette, because I love this palette. I've been using the crap out of it since I got it, and stay tuned for some more looks with it, because I'm on an emo kick right now. I feel like November should be like the month of emo or something. I don't know. I just feel like celebrating now that MCR is back from the dead. And I will see you all in my next video. Peace out, you all.